Wow guys, we got a lot to touch on in this video. The first week of 2025 has not even finished yet, and the prophecies from Kendrick Lamar's diss records against Drake continue to live on stronger than ever. Do you guys remember on 6/16 in LA when Kendrick rapped, "Are you finally ready to play Have You Ever? Let's see. Have you ever thought OVO was working for me? Fake bullies, I hate bullies, you must be a terrible person. Everyone inside your team is whispering you deserve it. Can't Tusi slide up out of this one, it's just gonna resurface. Every dog has its day, now live in your purpose. The Elohim, KTW, no you can't sleep, these images trouble you." By the way, if any of you guys are still wondering what KTW stands for, a lot of people thought it was Kendrick the Warrior. Some people didn't know what it was. I didn't know what it was. Someone pointed it out to me in the comments. It actually stands for Know the Wires. Because in the next bar, Kendrick raps, "Know the wires in your circle should puzzle you. If you were street smart, then you would have caught that your entourage is only to hustle you." So it seems like in that record, Kendrick Lamar was most definitely alluding to the fact that there was a mole inside Drake's OVO camp, someone within his inner circle that was leaking information, whether it was to Kendrick or just to the general public. Drake had to watch his back because there was someone out there to get him leaking information. Now, during the battle, we did see the first Drake diss record that came out of the battle, Push-Ups, get leaked online before Drake could drop the finished version on streaming platforms. Many people even believe that that Push-Ups record initially was an AI reference track, meaning that someone ghost wrote that song for Drake, put his vocals on it so that no one would know that there was ever a reference track for it. And that's why when it leaked, it kind of had this robotic sound to it in the delivery. And then Drake re-recorded it, mastered it, and then re-released it officially. Now, I say all this to say, there have been multiple leaks that have come out of Drake's camp, especially in the last few days, which we're going to touch on all of them in this video. But even after the beef, multiple reference tracks leaked. Mob Ties, which was initially written by the artist Vori, had leaked online. Ratchet Happy Birthday, the reference track from Party Next Door, had leaked online. Lil Yachty's Jumbotron Poppin' reference track for Drake had leaked online. So there had been an odd amount of Drake leaks randomly popping up online. And it all aligns with what Kendrick was rapping on 6/16 in LA, with there being someone in his inner circle deliberately trying to sabotage him by leaking inside information. Even the Weeknd alluded to this on his record with Future and Metro Boomin titled All to Myself, when he said, "They can never diss my brother's baby," when they got leaks in their operation. And especially early on in Drake's career, we never really saw many songs, much information leak out of Drake's camp. His mentor Lil Wayne constantly had hundreds of different songs leak on the internet, so much so that he had to completely redo his famous album The Carter 3 because it all got leaked. But with Drake, maybe Young Money had learned from their mistakes because he usually ran a pretty tight-knit operation. But the same thing can't be said in 2025. In the last 7 days, we've seen some Drake records leak where he's speaking on Kendrick, the beef, and LeBron James, which we're going to touch on shortly. We've seen some of his DMs leak, which we're going to touch on shortly. And we even saw the rumors of him having a hidden daughter get revived through some old pictures from his father on Instagram. We're going to touch on all that shortly. Let's start with these leaked messages. So earlier today, this screenshot of Drake's Instagram account, Champagne Papi, randomly started floating around online where Drake sent out this long message with half of it being blurred out. And what it said was, "I mean, I don't know no details, fam. I'm just showing you outside perception. I think there's better ways to go about it, is my opinion. Me and Universal is like if Nike was funding a campaign about LeBron cheating on his wife. Not Adidas or Reebok. Nike, the company he been with since he started. My situation is not no street stuff. Everybody before me that tried the label was too eccentric, so they wrote them off as crazy, and they never had to pay for their sins and mistakes. I'm going to change that and make the building a safer place for every artist moving forward." So it seems like here he's kind of alluding to the fact that LeBron may have been cheating on his wife, but the way he's writing it, essentially he's trying to say the opposite, right? Because he's saying Universal funding a song that's calling Drake a PDF file is like if Nike funded a campaign saying that LeBron cheated on his wife. Obviously, Drake is saying that it's not true that he's a PDF file. So the analogy that he makes of LeBron cheating on his wife, therefore, in Drake's eyes, or as he's implying, is not true. Unless Drake really thinks that he is a PDF file. I mean, he did tell Kendrick to talk about him liking young girls on Taylor Made Freestyle. But what was interesting to me is that last sentence where he said, "I'm going to change that and make the building a safer place for every artist moving forward." basically saying that, any artists that tried to fight for morality against these giant corporations, these giant record labels, they were too eccentric. I'm guessing he's talking about acts like Prince, Michael Jackson, or Kanye West, who maybe unlike Drake were possibly more focused on the creative side of things, how a label was holding them back on a creative level or holding their creativity hostage in bad record contracts, whereas Drake on the opposite end is looking at it from a more corporate perspective where he's not necessarily fighting for his creative freedom like let's say his mentor Lil Wayne was when he sued UMG for holding up his album The Carter 5. Instead, Drake is fighting for his brand reputation, his goodwill. But that last sentence to me is very interesting because it really shows that Drake thinks that by him suing UMG over Kendrick's song Not Like Us, he thinks that he's making the industry a better place for artists, a safer place, as he puts it. I don't really see what's necessarily safe about an artist now having to worry about the lyrics they rap in their songs, worried that they might get sued over said lyrics. I don't see how it's necessarily a safer space when record labels will now monitor the subject matter in their artist music more closely, as they might fear a lawsuit on their hands if they release music that tarnishes the reputation of another artist. It definitely does not make battle rap a safe space. Well, actually, I guess technically it does make battle rap a safe space because every rapper is essentially safe because they could just go and file a lawsuit if they get dissed too hard. So him trying to frame himself as the hero in all this, to me, is ridiculous. I saw an interesting comment from someone about this who said, him and Kanye West have used the same playbook, pretending it's a fight for artists' rights, when in reality, it's just a fight for themselves. Kanye was trying to get his masters back and then saying he wants Taylor Swift to get hers back too. Meanwhile, he hadn't given the artists on his label Good Music their royalties back. He said he would after he was called out on it, and then Big Sean spoke out on it a year later and said he still hadn't given them back. And I can't necessarily speak on the Kanye thing. I didn't, analyze the contracts there deep enough, but with the Drake thing, I definitely agree in that he's trying to paint himself out to be this hero saving the music industry, and that this lawsuit is going to make the music business a safer space for artists. But you wanted all this smoke with Kendrick. This was a rap battle. You knew what you were getting yourself into. And if both you and Kendrick were getting distributed from the same record label, it was only logical that both of you would get the same sort of backing. But what's funny is the whole LeBron thing. We're going to touch on LeBron later in this video. But I did find this super funny and ironic, the fact that, everyone's up in arms that Drake is exposing LeBron for potentially cheating on his wife. Funny enough, Pusha T, way back in 2009, before he ever exposed Drake for having a kid, had actually possibly exposed LeBron for cheating on his wife, as on the song Popular Demand, he rapped, "Used to have this white girl, she looked like Madonna though, heard that she's effing LeBron, but hell, I don't know. Like that Bron? I had that a long time ago." And damn, all I could say is Pusha T's got to add an EA to his name because he's always been coming with that T. But anyways, it was weird that this image, this screenshot of this text between Drake and someone else had mysteriously leaked online. Half the message was blurred out. People thought it was fake. And DJ Akademiks came online to confirm that Drake told him it indeed was fake. He tweeted out, "This is a fake DM. Drake called Buddy a rat. He got mad and made up some fake DM to try to make the blogs and go viral. End of story. The source is the boy." But now here's where it gets interesting, because the source of this conversation, the guy who leaked this message to begin with, after Akademiks tweeted that out, this guy Chris Blake Griffin, who's another artist, went on Instagram and seemingly posted the entire conversation in full. He said, "Never intended for this convo to turn public, but F it. Blogs hitting my line to confirm the facts, so let's discuss it. I've seen them all switch on me faster than a Glock accessory. I just never thought the GOAT would choose another side other than mine. Idols turn rivals. He's not like us." So he shares a bunch of different pictures and videos. The first thing he shares is this video of Drake.
"I've seen people I would never expect, people I've had the utmost respect for, do foul shit. If they could have their way, I'd be on the street corner with me and all these guys in this room and my family, and we'd never to be heard from again, if they had their way. But like I said, I'm ready for whatever."
Then he leaks the whole convo where seemingly it's a response to Drake unfollowing him. Chris Blake Griffith says, "Damn gang, unfollowed me? From college days playing Views on repeat with the volume turned all the way down in my sleep in hopes of helping you attain another number one, to tatting the owl in my skin, from standing outside your shows in the cold with my baby broski whose OVO deal fell through the cracks after coming to Toronto to link 40 at Soda Studios, to arguing with Gervonta about charging $0 to put the OVO owl patch on the shorts when he fought on the Mayweather versus McGregor undercards, simply because I saw the vision. From always offering tickets to all the OVO guys for every fight that I pay out of pocket for because Gervonta would say they got the money, to then having Preem pissed at me for requesting a pair of signed gloves and not getting them despite me spending my own money on gloves for Preem and your whole team that Gervonta refused to sign until I asked you to send us a pic of the signed shorts that I had framed and gifted to you for your birthday. He thinks you dispose of them. Even when I flew out from Baltimore to LA and dropped the shorts off to you, my personal team at GTD said I was deriding when I was merely showing love as I paid for the framing, my flights, and lodging out of my own pockets because G was against it. I'm not your op, champ. You heard a fan today, broski. God bless. Hope your best days are ahead. Forever grateful. So just want to apologize and clarify. I had said earlier in this video that this guy, Chris Blake Griffith, I think I even mispronounced his name. I said that he was an artist. If you look a little deeper on his Instagram, it says he's a professional entertainment marketing manager, working with and managing artists, athletes, and influencers for 10 plus years. Oh, and he has a music career. So he is an artist. Sorry, we got a lot of information to cover here. I'm kind of doing some of this on the fly. So stick with me. Appreciate you guys if you have. So anyways, Drake replies to his DM saying, "You asked me to post a tape about you ratting on people, G. I just don't really come from a family or a friend group or a city where that's acceptable. I live by a code that's become law. We all just gotta deal with our own stuff off of here. Not telling you to be no super gangster or tell you what to do, but it made me feel super weird. You would think I would be into supporting that type of stuff." Chris replied saying, "A guy tried me on some gay stuff while I was designing his collection and styling him. Stefan Diggs, I didn't go, and then he sent 2 guys to off me at my crib to suppress his secret. That's not ratting, champ. I survived the hit, and he had the money on my head, so I spoke up. That's like me telling you that you ratted for pulling Universal's card because they played with you in front of the entire world." Basically, Chris is comparing his own situation to Drake filing this petition against UMG and quote-unquote exposing them for malpractice with the promotion of Not Like Us. Anyways, he continues on saying, "Much like my situation, you survived with your head held high and spoke up. I know Stefan from business and business alone. I'm not holding no closeted gay man secrets, champ." Anyways, Chris goes on about his own particular situation, but Drake actually responds specifically to the Universal comments he made by saying, "I mean, I don't know no details, fam. I'm just showing you outside perception. I think there's better ways to go about it, is my opinion. Me and Universal is like if Nike was funding a campaign about LeBron cheating on his wife, not Adidas or Reebok. Nike, the company he'd been with since he started. My situation is not no street stuff. Everybody before me that tried the label was too eccentric, so they wrote them off as crazy, and they never had to pay for their sins and mistakes. I'm going to change that and make the building a safer place for every artist moving forward. Your stuff is personal and involves violence, and I just think the way you're doing it makes you look crazy. That's my opinion, and you don't need to listen to it. I just think if all you're saying is true, there's better ways to handle it other than dropping a tape." Then he goes on to share a bunch of different pictures and videos of him gifting Drake merchandise, them putting the Owl OVO logo on Gervonta Davis's shorts for one of his fights, seemingly proving that he's been in communication with Drake for years now. Drake ended their conversation off by saying, "I'll think this one out and write my response somewhere else other than Instagram. I'm on a plane right now." And I'm assuming that's the last they spoke because this guy felt comfortable exposing this entire conversation on his Instagram. We're not confirming or denying nothing here, so Drake, don't sue us. This is all what this guy has posted. All the screenshots come directly from him. But while Akademiks claims Drake told him that this guy just faked all these DMs, like none of them are real, this guy responded with a little bit too much proof to deny. I'll leave a link to his Instagram post in the description of this video. Now, what's interesting is that he's bringing up this LeBron stuff, talking about LeBron possibly cheating on his wife in these DMs, and this is something he alluded to on his recent freestyle Fighting Irish, which many people think was riddled with sneak disses at LeBron James. So if you guys didn't know, obviously, when Kendrick released Not Like Us and had his pop-out concert, LeBron was there dancing to it. Recently, he was at his birthday party rapping word for word, which was very surprising for LeBron that he knew all the lyrics of the song Man at the Garden by Kendrick Lamar. Drake then unfollowed LeBron off of Instagram. And then this Drake freestyle leaks titled Fighting Irish, which is the name of the mascot for the high school basketball team that LeBron used to play for. And ironically, Drake has a tattoo of LeBron in this jersey on his arm. Drake and LeBron have been in business together for a while. Drake always refers to him as his brother, but also says there's no friends in the industry, so it's hard to tell what's what. On that Fighting Irish freestyle, Drake rapped, "The world fell in love with the gimmicks, even my brothers got tickets. seemed like they loved every minute. Just know this stuff is personal to us, it wasn't just business. Later in the song, he rapped, talk about family, well, I'm not the cousin to visit. God forbid we ever gotta tarnish your public image. This is where people think Drake is taking direct shots at LeBron since he's talking about his brother betraying him, getting front row tickets to Kendrick's show to watch the entire thing go down. Plus, LeBron does have a squeaky clean public image, and Drake is saying, God forbid we gotta tarnish that. Which, in my opinion, is just so lame. Like, you're already suing your record label, trying to expose a bunch of things there. Now you're trying to expose your so-called brother over whatever secrets, and you're talking about his business in a leaked DM conversation with someone else, talking about how he's cheating on his wife, or at least implying it. Now, Mal from the Rory and Mal podcast, a frequent OVO Glazer Drake defender, has come to Drake's rescue again and seemingly confirmed that Drake wants no reconciliation with LeBron, that the shots on this Fighting Irish freestyle were probably aimed at LeBron, seemingly in response to LeBron requesting the song Man at the Garden by Kendrick Lamar at his birthday party and then rapping every word of it. And Mal basically says that this is Drake's way of stating, like, all you guys who picked a side, all you guys who supported Kendrick throughout this beef, stay on that side.
I'm sure people have been reaching out to him and kind of like, backsliding and backtracking certain actions. And I think this is probably his way of letting those people know, like, nah, fam, like that wasn't, like you got to stay over there. You picked the side, stay over there. I think this was a cool way of doing that.
You brought up in the last episode that LeBron at his birthday party requested Man of the Garden because Drake unfollowed him. Do you think Drake asked this to be leaked because of LeBron's 40th birthday party? Because it is a direct shot at LeBron through most of this. It's pretty obvious.
Well, yeah, obviously we know that part.
He also says that he believes LeBron reached out to Drake and Drake told LeBron the same thing. Stay on that side. You picked it. There's no more buddy, my brother, this and that. All that stuff is done.
I believe that LeBron has probably reached out through some avenues or, directly or however he can to probably have a conversation with Drake. And I think this is probably Drake's way of saying, like, fam, don't try to hit my line. Like, this is what it is. This is where I'm at. Like, y'all knew what it was when, we was at Mike Rubin's party. And you know what I'm saying? Like, y'all knew the energy was different. I didn't speak to nobody. So I think this is his way of kind of like just standing down on that. Like, yo, listen, this is what it is.
I just find it gross. Like, it's definitely one thing to not mess with LeBron after him showing support to Kendrick, even though he has stated in the past he's a fan of hip-hop. He's shown both Kendrick and Drake love in the past. So I don't doubt that if Drake won this battle or had a song as global, as massive, as amazing as a Not Like Us in this battle, LeBron would be singing that too. It's just hip-hop. It's just business. And I think Drake probably has a hard time separating his industry friends from his real friends. But it's one thing to be against LeBron after that. It's a whole other thing to try to threaten him to, tarnish his reputation or expose him for cheating on his wife or alluding to that in DMs with some random guy. It shows that there's a lack of morals. And as far as the legitimacy of those leaked DMs, I mean, I showed you guys all the proof that this guy came with. Like, he was getting signed boxing gloves for Drake and his whole team, even against Gervonta Davis's request. He was getting the owl logo on shorts that Gervonta wore at a fight. I'm assuming he was Gervonta's manager. He was linking up with Drake in all these videos. Like, there's definitely a connection between them. So it's not out of the realm of possibilities that these DMs are very much real and that Drake actually knew this guy enough to respond to him and divulge somewhat of some personal information, whether it's about the UMG lawsuit or talking about this guy's issue. But to bring up LeBron in all this, about him cheating on his wife, even to use that as an example, even if it's not true, just to allude that, is definitely ridiculous. And aside from these leaked conversations, there were plenty of other Drake leaks in the last few days. One that I haven't seen many people talk about is 3 new snippets of Drake records that leaked. And as someone who is patiently waiting a strong comeback from Drake, strong music from him after this battle, I was kind of disappointed by these snippets. 2 of them, actually all of them, are just quite generic sounding Drake records. One of them is kind of like a love song seemingly, where he's doing like this high-pitched Young Thug voice, talking about missing and loving and wanting to see his baby. Another one with him and Party Next Door, where Drake is talking about his girl crying, never thought he'd see the day she cried till she cried in his arms. Another generic R&B record. It's tough to judge off small snippets, but again, it just sounds like something we've heard a million times from Drake before. It is good to know that there is really Party Next Door and Drake music that exists out there that is hopefully on the way. But the most interesting snippet is the third one, which is a more hip-hop based song where Drake actually raps, "F a rap beef, I'm trying to get the party lit." Kind of sounds similar to a No Face or Circadian Rhythm, where he's kind of pushing off the beef, saying like, how am I still up after all they did to try to tear me down? Here he's saying, "F a beef, I'm trying to see the party lit." Maybe this is a response to Kendrick's "Watch the Party Die," but I guess he didn't get the memo that Kendrick killed the party already. Plus, like, just to hear Drake still rapping, still singing about these immature subjects, watching his baby cry, getting the party lit. Like, if you're going to reflect on this beef, which you definitely should do, you need to do, if you want to come back and really humanize yourself and give people a glimpse into, your whole thought process after the battle, how you feel about how it went down, what went wrong, what went right, where you kind of stand now. It shouldn't be like on the Heart Part 6 where you're defending yourself against being a PDF file, or on the opposite side, wiping it off as if nothing happened and just saying like, yeah, we're back to making the party lit. If that's the case, then I don't think he's understood the gravity of what went down last year and how it's affected his reputation, and he can't just snap his fingers and make the party go back to being lit. Even though he did that with his Pusha T beef, dropping out of it and simply making party records like Kiki Do You Love Me. Like Kendrick said, you can't Tootsie Slide your way out of this one. You can't Kiki Do You Love Me your way out of this one. And it's very funny because whoever leaked these snippets put a watermark on each of these songs where it's just Kendrick saying "Ovie Ho" repeatedly as Drake is singing, just taunting Drake basically that someone in his camp is leaking these records, and they're putting that Kendrick stamp on it to let them know what side they're on. I can't play these for you guys, but you can just look up 3 new Drake snippets, Party Next Door, and you'll find them online for yourself. Not that there's really much to hear. These songs sound like everything we've heard from Drake so far and don't really show much maturity within his lyrics. Now, as far as the final leak to come out of Drake's camp as of recent is actually in relation to his mysterious hidden daughter who may or may not exist. This is all alleged. I actually personally did not believe Drake had a secret daughter he was hiding when Kendrick made that allegation on Meet the Grams. When I said that in a video, you guys went at me in the comments saying that there is a lot of proof to this claim. So I did a little digging. The only public info related to it is a 2015 article about Drake allegedly having a 2-year-old with a woman that he pays off. Drake has come out and adamantly denied those rumors, saying that he does not have a secret daughter, and he would bet his whole career that they can't find any proof that he has a secret daughter. There were pictures that, I'm not sure if these are AI or not, of Drake hugging a kid, and you could tell by the pictures that Drake was a lot younger, meaning that this picture was probably taken in about like 2014. I'm not going to post it just for the privacy of the child involved. You guys can look that up for yourself, but there's pictures that exist, whether they're AI, fake, or not. There's pictures of Drake with this kid who people are alleging is his daughter. But what was interesting is that what was circulating over the last few days was a post that his dad, Dennis Graham, made years ago, way back in August of 2014, which would align with the timeline of Drake having an 11-year-old daughter, as he posted this young girl saying, "My beautiful granddaughter." Now, as we know from this new Drake Fighting Irish freestyle, he mentions that his father had a second daughter with another woman, and Drake refused to claim her as his own sister, which I don't really understand. Like, that is definitely your biological half sister. And Dennis Graham has confirmed this himself in an interview back in 2016. He said, "I have more kids, one by a girl I went to high school with, and I had a daughter after my wife and I split up." So he's got 2 half siblings, which I guess he doesn't claim either of them. He also confirmed in the comments of the picture that he posted of his granddaughter, replying to a comment where someone said, "This little girl looks exactly like Adonis." Dennis Graham said, "This is my daughter's daughter." Me personally, I'm going to take his word for it, just because I think when family gets involved, Drake is, whether or not he's hiding this child, whether it's his child or not, he's hiding her, I guess, for a reason. And you don't want kids to grow up scouring the internet, seeing a bunch of strangers talk about them, seeing a bunch of headlines of potentially their parents trying to hide them, or them being pinned to people who aren't their real parents. It just adds a lot of confusion for the child. It's not really fair to them. I think it was a smart move by Kendrick, a smart chess move in that battle. But if Drake denies it, that's enough for me. I don't really care to dive deeper to try to expose someone's family. I'm only bringing this up to say that I think it's very interesting, the timing of all this, all these different Drake leaks happening, and then his dad's Instagram post from 10 years ago getting leaked onto the internet, or not really leaked, but getting resurfaced as if this is Drake's daughter. Just like those leaked text message conversations where Drake was denying ever saying that LeBron cheated on his wife. Obviously, Drake's family is going to deny that Drake is hiding a daughter here. So you can't necessarily take their word for whether it's true or not. However, I don't think that matters, and there isn't any proof that this is Drake's daughter. Just very weird timing that these things are surfacing at the same time that a bunch of Drake music is getting leaked, where he's talking about the beef, a bunch of Drake music threatening to expose LeBron for something, messages about Drake exposing LeBron for something. Weird timing, just weird timing of it all. But let me know what you guys think. Is there any truth to any of this? Was Drake really exposing LeBron in these messages, or are these all fake? If he was exposing LeBron, is that taking it too far? In my opinion, it definitely is. Big rap move, but curious what you guys have to say about all this. Let me know in the comments, and I will catch you guys in the next one.
There's a lot of little nuggets in both of their disses that if it wasn't for these breakdowns, and salute to, guys like this, Rapaholics, because I think they directly get it.